So this is your loyalty. Let us breathe. Let us breathe.
Okay, so let's wait for more people to join. Clinton, if I use Ghana to go and bring these people, if I did not see them last song, it's you that will blame.
Yeah, so I've been posting now. Yeah, thank God you're recording. That's a good one.
Okay, so the recording is not to share, so they will not think they will not attend. So they'll be waiting for recording link. Mm-hmm. Recording will not come.
Okay.
As well, it might only go to people that attended. So that's the ground rule.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is not for my Andy. Let them come.
If they happen, they happen.
Okay. I can see Dolapo. Hi, Dolapo. Can you hear me? Dolapo, I'll not stop calling you until you answer me. Dolapo. Clint, you see this your sticker that you are using? Better go and look for the one that has magnets. That will bring them here. You are looking for them under the table.
Honestly, oh, please.
You said what?
Let them come. I need them like right now, honestly.
Alpha,
Did you call people?
I sent direct DM to everybody.
Oh, but you try at private DMs, but also phone calls too. Like I mean, the thing can be somehow. So some people forget. Like today now for this alone, I to be honest, I just make sure that I only watch movies throughout today, so that this will be the only activity that I would, so I don't get sidetracked, because I was looking forward to this. But not everybody may have that liberty.
Okay.
That's something. Yeah, I'm serious. Some people will go to work. It's part of the course. So I mean, we're already having a lot of people turning up, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, gradually, yeah, sure.
So what I've done is I've also made video call, WhatsApp calls. Anyone that picks it, I'll just remind the person to join.
Okay. Fire, that's another strike. That's so once you call like that, and
I think the group, right? I think that can work.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing now. So I can't call everybody at once. It has to be in batches. So in total, we have 8 people. Well, I think we have 9.
Someone just joined now. Zion, good evening, Zion.
Zion just joined.
Yeah,
good evening, everyone.
Be right.
Good evening, Zion. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm seeing Mimi.
Mimi just joined.
Tosan, did you know I thought that time was supposed to be in the morning?
Yeah.
Yes, I figured.
So I was trying to juggle so many things together, and I was just like, Clinton, join the meeting. I was chatting then, Tosan. So later, Clinton now reminded me that it's for evening. It's not morning. I was like, oh heaven! When you're trying to multitask, sometimes you just lose track of time, and your thing just goes the way it does.
I didn't do anything today. I just sat down and watched movies with my family so that I could be free for this. Just make sure that to do shut down and stuff. Because sometimes I have work just be kind.
Right.
No, so I'm just so glad seeing you guys virtually like this. This thing is just sweeting me like this.
Man, my brother, you see, when we do the physical hangouts, I mean, for me, all the physical hangouts.
Clinton might not come for the physical hangouts though.
Because
That physical hangout would have been the best thing for me, actually, honest. Kai, how much is flight now
Like,
that I cannot come to Lagos?
oh, but
I
not
don't
even
think
reason out.
Look at
nobody-
what I'll be.
I mean, there is no reason that matter for doing that. Really, you can use that money now. Not funny.
but Tosan can just all the charter play for us, as Tosan said now,
They will just do private jet for me. I'll just come and enter.
Tosan
No,
will
you know
sponsor
what?
everybody.
Big Tobi and I.
What did
Big
he say?
Tobi will lead the way. Big Tobi will lead the way.
True.
I will
Yeah,
follow.
we
I forgot
have
him again. Did he say he was on the East Coast or the West Coast? I think he said he was on the West Coast, East Coast. East Coast boys. East Coast boys are ballers. Don't say that the East Coast boys are the run team.
I beg.
Ballers, short callers.
No, they want me, sir. No, they want me, sir.
We are
Don't
here.
worry. I came here to follow the lead.
Set our expatriate.
Abi,
Expatriate,
You know,
my guy. Don't be sponsored.
an expatriate to know an
I know how they
expatriate. So
collect
Tosan,
expatriate money. Look at they collect expatriate first.
I don't know how he's preserving his PG English in that place. Make they collect with
Look at they collect expert money first.
Oh boy, your PG English. He get nylon for body. Come on, the nylon.
Oh God.
All the time, bro.
My people should
Okay,
come
guys.
and join me.
We are 7 minutes past the time to start.
look for your customers, though.
What do you gotta look for them?
Your performance is not. You have to review your performance. Your performance appraiser really. You have to determine your promotion, your KPI.
Joy.
My KPI is low.
Just call people on the group and have people join. And then
Okay, let's do the group call. Yeah, sure.
just do a group
Okay.
call.
Okay. I think I have a template or something in my head. Dr. Tosan. What's it for you? Look at the picture. Doctor, me now. I can become a doctor. I have to do PhD.
Can you see my face?
Can I saw your face?
Why are you looking for some?
Okay, so I think we might have to start now. All right.
Yeah, I think yeah.
We spent a lot of time, and so this is what we. Yes. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yes, I can. We can hear you.
Right. So the point time I have to turn off my video, yeah? Or we gotta sit there. Okay, so quickly I'll just have to read the profile of all our speakers today. I said Tosan. Please, where is Fisayo?
Fisayo is not here. Let me I sent him a DM now. Let me call him.
Okay, while we wait for Fisayo to join, let me just quickly read the profile of our big people, the big Tobi and the doctor amongst us. For all that do not have any profile, that would not have any achievements in life. We don't have so much to talk about. But when you have you say?
I say wide now. Why are you whining us?
Who is whining you? I'm not whining you, it's the truth. Also, quickly, I'd like to share the profile of our speakers. Okay, so since it's not working, I don't like Microsoft Teams, really. It's annoying. So I'll quickly just read out their profile.
Not as,
so I'll start.
The experience is not as smooth.
You said? So quickly, I'll start with the profile of Tobi. Then I'll move to Tosan. When we now have Fisayo amongst. Okay, Fisayo is here. Hi, Fisayo. Hi, Fisayo. Can you hear me?
Hi, good evening. I can hear you.
How are you? You are looking fresh. What's the secret? So you now put up the light of your room so I will not see the whole freshness. The whole thing God has done.
There is no light in this room. There is no light in this room.
Okay, I understand. So quickly, let me just read out the three profiles of our panelists today. Yes, I'm the moderator. I'll just talk one or two things about myself. And I think I dropped my LinkedIn profile on the WhatsApp group. So maybe there's something you can even say, this girl try small. That's I just drop it there with all sense of humility. All right. So I'm starting with Tobi. So Tobi has a 6 years experience in managing multiple projects across industries, which are real estate, technology, maritime, and so on. Prior to his MBA, he was the head of products and operations at a Pan-African technology company, managing a product portfolio of $3 million. Tosan, did you hear that? After you'll be saying he's humble. And Tobi spent time in strategies, business processes, driving execution, and value delivery. In 2014, Tobi earned a professional certificate in project management from Axilos, UK, also a graduate of Obafemi Awolowo University, Great Ife, with a degree in mechanical engineering. He has garnered experience managing stakeholders at all levels, operational excellence, best practices in project execution, effective team leadership, and process improvements and business management. When Tobi is not doing any of the above, he is either on the 10-kilometer run, okay, he can run for Jesus, playing lawn tennis, beautiful, or sharing his knowledge. I'd like us all to welcome the big Tobi, aka the big Tobi amongst us. Okay, so quickly, I'd like to move to our great Fisayo. Fisayo Balogun is a highly motivated individual with a strong educational background in human anatomy and a postgraduate diploma in education. Beautiful. Currently, he's working as a teacher and administrator in a nursery and primary school. He's dedicated to positively impacting young minds and contributing to their growth and development. In addition to his professional role, Fisayo volunteers as a Fashion and Made for Excellence, which is FAME, an organization focused on developing leadership qualities and empowering young individuals. Through his involvement, he demonstrates his passion for nurturing future leaders and making a positive difference in the community. So, Fisayo's interests have recently expanded to technology, particularly front-end development. He has dedicated himself to a self-study to enhance his skills and actively seeking for internship opportunities to gain practical experience. Outside of work, outside of Wahala work, Fisayo enjoys watching movies, playing board games, and pursuing photography as a hobby. These activities provide a source of relaxation and inspiration in his life. Oh, beautiful. Let's welcome Fisayo. Welcome. And finally, there's a right adage I will say, let me start. Before Tosan will say I'm whining him, but let me just keep quiet. Just go and look at his picture. Look at that watch. Go and look for the price. Look at Tobi's picture too. Look at that his jacket. Go and look for his price. And Fisayo, so that is polo. Go and look for their prices online. Come and tell me what you think the prices are. So don't tell me yet. So quick, I want to talk about Tosan. Dr. Tosan.
For the price. So that
He's the founder of Black Swan Tech Limited. Black Swan designs and deploy enterprise-level innovative software solutions for addressing developmental challenges in low resource setting in partnership with governments and international development partners. While he's a medical doctor and a public health practitioner by training, he also transitioned into a more technical capacity, interested in artificial intelligence or machine learning technologies for use cases that addresses key aspects of public health and identity management. in your profile is too robust in resource poor setting. He's also interested in policy formulation, industry standard, and governance for these technologies and their deployment across Africa. Okay, so finally for myself, like a quick summary. I'm Bukola. What else to say? Yes, I currently Tosan, don't say anything. I currently work as a business development executive at Business School Netherlands. I'm currently an MBA student also at Business School Netherlands, and I'll be graduating next year. I hope to see you in the Netherlands next year for my graduation.
The humility
and,
was too much.
And recently, for my area, my interest in tech is basically on ERP, enterprise resource planning, and in particular, I'm talking about Dynamics 365. And yes, I've started learning, and I want to transition fully into that role in a year or two. So in case you have how I can build my skills in this area, I'm humble to learn. Tobi, Tosan, everybody, Fisayo, I'm really humble to learn because I really love ERP and fairly deploying it. So let's welcome our speakers. Thank you so much for volunteering. It is late. I have to put off my video quickly. What we are going to do is that...
I was sorry, Bukola. I was just going to jump in. Yeah, I was just going to quickly say why I love Bukola. So, I mean, like, Bukola is incredible. She didn't give you her full profile. But personally, why I really love Bukola is her openness and her capacity to collaborate with anybody. Like, Bukola can work with anybody. The first week I met her, we were already collaborating on projects together. So, Bukola is awesome like that. She didn't give you her full profile. Please carry.
All right. Thank you very kindly, Tosan. Thank you. Thank you very kindly. Thank you. All right. So let's quickly jump in. So this is what we are going to do. Based on your profiles, I'll give you 5 minutes each to quickly talk about how you started your career journey, where you are, and also what are the kind of your learning points for people to pick from. Okay, so with no particular order, we'll be starting from Tosan.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here, to be honest. I love DT, and it's always an opportunity for me to connect with people. Yeah. That being said, so I started my journey into software in my second year of medical school. Actually, my first year. What happened was I got admission into Obafemi as a medical doctor, but I showed up for registration really late, super late, and I couldn't get a room for room with my colleagues. So I ended up with engineering students for classmates, and I ended up with guys. There are a number of companies that came out of that room that you guys, a lot of us know at least 2 or 3. And then I had co-founders there, started a number of those companies. You guys might know some of them. And then also I've been working with those guys ever since. So, and this was way back in 2002. And so we started companies there. For a while, my grades in medical school suffered significantly, and so I had to take the hiatus. Meanwhile, my guys went on to build stuff, like really big stuff. And then when I was done, I immediately jumped back into doing software. So my career path is not a traditional career path. It doesn't have a career trajectory that is typical or standard. And so many of the things that I would recommend you emulate it would be to just pick a few things from my story, not to try to replicate the whole thing, because it's very, very dangerous and injurious to even me. Sometimes I doubt that career will make sense in that sense. So, but I'll try as much as I can to share what I know about making the transition, specifically from what you study in university into what you are doing in tech. My experience in tech is largely as a founder, if I'm being frank and honest. And so it's a kind of a unique perspective. Most of my observations with respect to a standard career in tech or a standard role would be from my perspective as an observer, not as an implementer per se. Over the last, like I said, like Bukola said, mentioned when reading my profile, over the last 2 years, I did go back to try to strengthen my tech chops. In 2019, because I realized that there were certain technologies that were just going to come out, and I was right. So I did go back, get certifications in Python, that sort of thing, and I'm now working in AI ML. And then, providentially, ChatGPT came out, large language models came out, and it just so happened to be positioned for that sort of thing. But again, it's not something. See, it's a lot of serendipity. It's not something I would recommend you attempt the way I attempted it. I was very radical. I wasn't, I wasn't focused on my medical career for a long time. I wouldn't recommend that. Your parents would cry. My parents cried, that kind of thing. So I can help you manage the process emotionally. I can help you manage the process risk-wise in a risk assessment setting. I can gist you about what the guys on my team do. But I would not advise or recommend that you attempt what I've done. That being said, there's a lot we can talk about tech and what anybody can use to build a career in tech. We can talk about it for 3 weeks every week, and there will be stuff you pick up. Hopefully, we can crash the course in 2 hours and share stuff with our other friends. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very kindly, Tosan. Thank you very much. So in case if you think that maybe putting on your video will not allow you to your audio to be audible or of quality, feel free to put off your video. Yeah, so please be free. So next I'd like to call on our lovely, delectable, ebullient, the Toastmasters they mean showing, Fisayo. So please go ahead, Fisayo. Tell us about yourself, how your career started, and what are your career projections, and basically what can we learn from this? What do you like to share about it?
Okay, I hope we can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Good evening, everybody. I'm happy to be here, delighted to be here. Like Tosan, I have a medical background, basic medical science background. I finished my master's degree in human anatomy at the University of Ibadan. At that time, I wasn't thinking tech. I was thinking lecturing. And just after I finished my master's degree, I went for a postgraduate diploma in education at the federal government and Federal College of Education, Oshiele, in Abeokuta. And I just found myself in education. Maybe because I always wanted to lecture. I taught for some time. And sometime last year, I started thinking about going into tech. Majorly because my sister is a computer science student and she's also a software engineer. So she was my first introduction to anything tech. Most times when I think about it, or when they talk about tech, it's usually like, what do you guys do there? Right. So I took an opportunity last year, May, to sign into a cohort, into a tech school to learn. And I would say that has been beneficial for me. Mostly, I've been able to learn mostly on my own. So my track is front end engineering. I initially started with cloud engineering, but I found myself in software engineering at the end of the day. I felt it was a little closer to home. And I must say that the past year, it's been up and down. I mean, I can't say that it has been smooth, but have been given and have come, like I've been able to arrive where I am presently. I would say that, I mean, if you want to learn from me, I don't know I'm sure that I'll have a few things to share with people in terms of experience, but I'm barely 1 year old in the tech space. And even though I know several people that are in it, um, I'll just say that, I mean, it's if you have the passion for it, I think the passion for it is most important, because everybody, when people see tech or when they hear tech, most times people think about financial breakthrough and plenty jobs and earning in foreign currency. That's good, but it's also more than that. It's if you're not passionate, if you don't always remind yourself why you're doing why you started it in the first place, it's very easy to lose your way. I stopped to restart several times, but like I said, I'm happy that I'm here today. I have 1 year under my belt. I've been able to learn a few things that I'm happy with myself for. And yeah, and I'm also here to, learn, contribute, share my experience with people, anyone that is ready to learn from it. And yeah.
Okay, and you're also, okay, you are here to learn, to share, and maybe to find your missing rib, Abby. I thought you added that part. Did you
I
add
didn't.
that? Tobi, I saw your face. Did you add that part? Because maybe I
I
asked
didn't.
you. Did you mention that part?
No, I didn't. But
Tobi,
yeah.
did you mention
But why
that
are you
part?
laughing? Why is laughing?
Okay,
You mean,
I thought God works in mysterious way. You don't know, you don't get. Don't let me go into details. So it's not as if I'm talking for you.
absolutely. I agree with you. God works in mysterious ways.
Right? Don't mind me, just kidding. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so fine. Like, quick, let's move on to Tobi. Then after Tobi, I'll just quickly share my own story. So Tobi, the floor is yours.
Okay. Thank you. It's good to be here. This is my first community group, fireside chat type of thing. The first thing I want to say is, if you're a part of this community, I think one of the most valuable things that you will take out of this place is the connections you make, like amongst ourselves, right? For me, I'm not great at connecting with people or networking per se, but I had to learn it. So it's something that you can learn. And I'm saying this because maybe from the questions that will be answered later on, or from sharing my experience, you'll see how important this skill is, even as you're getting into tech, right? So it's a learnable skill. I've had to learn it. I've had to come out of my comfort zone to learn it. And so as I learn it, I practice it. So when I joined the WhatsApp group, I ensured that everybody that introduced him myself, I am engaging with everybody. You really never can tell who has what you're looking for, the information you're looking for, the resource that you're looking for. I know you will soon graduate, our coordinator, don't worry. Maybe somebody in this week that will sponsor my trip will come and do graduation with you, right?
Okay.
But yeah, I think that's very important. So I'm happy to be here. I will definitely ensure that I engage with as many people on this group, because you really never can tell. My background was in engineering. I had a background in mechanical engineering. By the way, right out of secondary school, I wanted to be a doctor, and that was because, like most African parents, my parents wanted me to be a doctor, so I might have been like Dr. Tosan by now, right? So, and I actually even wrote JAMB, applied to Unilag, wanted to study medicine there. I got admitted, but I didn't go there. I just woke up one day and realized that blood, anything related to, is not for me, right? I'm kind of I'm kind of
Thank
just
you for saying that, because sometimes the society expects men to be extremely strong. No, thank you for being vulnerable with that.
Honestly, I mean, and it was a tough conversation because that day I was sitting there in my living room. My mom and my dad were talking, arguing. My mom was like, "You should do medicine," and my dad was like, "Does he really want to do medicine?" I'm like, "Yes, I do want to do medicine." Just watching that conversation was interesting. But I'm happy that I eventually went to Obafemi Awolowo University, one of the two greatest universities in Nigeria. If you are
you guys have pride. You guys are Unilag. You have pride.
No, I said you, not Unilag. Anyway, so I did that, but I quickly learned that the technical part of mechanical engineering wasn't for me. I was more interested in the management side of engineering, right? So that led me to take classes in project management, and that was like really how my career started. I'm happy to share more about that later on. But right after school, I spent like the last 5 years, project management pretty much, but I've transitioned, grown into other competencies, as it were. My first job, we did a lot of real estate type of things. Then I went to manage a maritime project. Then from there, I realized that tech is like my thing. So I found a way to pivot into tech. In that my transition, so just like Dr. Tosan, I think Fisayo also mentioned that I started to learn data science, so my friends used to call me an hexagon then. It's like, I did so many things. I used to do graphic design. I used to do like so many things. But I quickly learned that, tech was more like the kind of space that I could be myself, right? I was more aligned. I was more fit for that space. So I got into tech. However, I leveraged something in my experience because I didn't have tech experience per se. So I used what I had to get into tech. And 4 years strong, I've been in tech, and I've had the opportunity to manage a lot of projects, some that you might have actually heard or been impacted by. I'm happy to share that later on. And I then started to realize that as an operator in tech, I needed to also learn some other things, and that's why I came to business school. I'm very interested in tech investing, so like venture capital, private equity, those types of things. And so you kind of like need to understand things that have to do with like startups, entrepreneurship, finance, and those body of knowledge. So I was like, what, maybe it's time for business school to get that. But beyond the knowledge was also the network. So I was kind of like, I was looking for a particular type of network, that will help me to achieve like the next thing in my career. That's why I made the choice, to go to business school where I am currently. And I'm happy to share more about my experience. Please ask questions. Like, no question is stupid, no question is wrong. And I think the best advice I've gotten in my entire career, like, they came from the quality of questions that I've asked. So please feel free to ask questions. Thank you very much.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you very kindly, Tobi, for that. Thank you, Tosan and Fisayo. So finally, myself. When you're working with people that are skilled than you, and they have a lot of profile, you have to be humble about what you have to say. So quickly, I don't have Tobi, yes,
that thing is not the humble beginning. I don't want to talk. That's not the humble beginning, sir. That's not the humble beginning.
All right. So quickly, So my name is Bukola, as you already know. And so started my career as a digital marketing intern in business school Netherlands. And how did I get that? Was that after university, I thought of not just staying at home. So I moved to teaching. I thought for like one of the most difficult classes. I taught basic 2 in a private school at Apapa, and it taught me a lot how to work with children. And no matter where I find myself, one way or the other, I know how to find my way around children. Basic 2, they are literally between the ages of 5 to 8, 9, 10. And sometimes when they complain, they will tell me, teacher, Collins is doing this. No, teacher, it is not Collins, it is Tobi. I said, can you guys just stop fighting? And children, you can't beat them, literally. So you have to look for a way to manage it. That level of my career taught me patience the hard way, how to manage people, how to manage things effectively. Fast forward, I got a scholarship with Facebook through Digify NG to learn digital marketing. And I think we used the Facebook hub at Yaba then. That was in 2018. And it was a very interesting one because during that time, I had to work on so many briefs from different advertising agencies. Name them: Leo Bonnet, Digitex Plus, Noah's Ark, Red Wolf, Extreme Ideas, the major advertising agencies in Nigeria. Brand Eye, they paired us into group, and every week we were working on briefs back to back for like 3 months. It was very intensive. So I have to leave home from Apapa to Yaba every day. And it was quite challenging for me. The classes were supposed to be Mondays to Fridays, but Saturdays was available then, because if you have something to do, you can just walk in. So when my colleagues are just coming for only Mondays to Fridays, I still go there on Saturdays. And I work back to back like that for 3 months. Yes, I felt it on my health. But the beautiful thing that gave me visibility. The program coordinator saw my skill, she saw my dedication, she saw everything I could offer. She saw that I was not willing to settle for less. So fast forward, after the program, I think the group I led won 2 briefs back to back. So every week the advertising agency will bring briefs on, this is what we want to achieve, this is what we want you to work on. Some are real briefs, some are briefs they have worked on before. So for the 2 groups I led, we won back to back. And one of them, I think, was this brand. I've forgotten the name of this deodorant. And they gave us gifts. We even went to one Davido's exclusive party and all of that then. So after that, we were supposed to go for internship in advertising agencies or other organizations. That is where my faith was tested. I remember that very day when organizations came. It was an open day, so they will interview you, you talk about yourself, they will ask you questions and all of that. So after all that went, I wanted advertising agency badly. When you have won briefs back to back, you have tested agency life, you just want to explore. And my strongest strength, when it comes to advertising or communication, it can either be creativity or strategy. Yes, you can combine both, but sometimes you weigh towards one than the other. So for me, naturally, strategy came to me as something I want to do. Because when people talk about how can we do this brief, I've already started talking about the strategy we are going to use, how we are going to use Twitter to do this, how we are going to use Facebook to do that, how we are going to use, I was just giving. So strategy was my strength. I didn't know the agency was looking for someone that has both strategy and creativity together. Because when they ask me, I am hammering on creativity, on strategy. Bottom line was, when the letter came in for posting, so I got where I was currently. I got business school Netherlands. When I saw it, Tosan, I was literally crying. Tobi, you need to see my face. I was downcasted. I was unhappy. I was sad. I was crying. No, it was sad because I put in a lot of effort into this. Back to back for 3 months, 6 days a week, back to back. So I remember the program coordinator, Mrs. Florence Olumodimo, she said, Bukola, this is not the end of the world. Trust God and trust the process. If you didn't get what you want, it's because maybe there's something better for you. And fast forward again, I shall accept it. I spoke to one friend of mine. We prayed, Christians, we say, God, I don't want this. Can you change this? And all of that. But at the end of the day, well, I just have to accept it. Except if I don't accept it, it shows that I didn't complete the program. I won't be considered that as an alumni by Facebook. I won't get all the benefit that comes with it. So I accepted and I started working in business in Netherlands. So from there, did I mention that I supposed to go for NYSC before the scholar? When the scholarship came, NYSC's posting letter came. So I had 2 options. Is either to rush and go for NYSC and come back and start a job hunt, or post my NYSC and go for the scholarship, then later come for the NYSC. So what I did was, as a smart Naija babe, I just I post NYSC. I thank God for wisdom, because I thought after the whole NYSC buzz and going to camp, POP, you are still coming back to the job market, or to the labor or favor market, as people call it. So I pended. I think I postponed my NYC twice, my pre-mobilization twice, 2 times. I think it's rare for you to find that kind of thing in people. It's called delayed gratification. People just say, Bukola did not finish school. All her mates have gone to NYC. She did not go. People that can proclaim, family, friends, and everything. So fast forward, I started, after my internship, I spoke to the CEO of the organization that I would like to serve in the organization. And one way or the other, I got my posting to Lagos. Don't ask me how that was done. So I camped in Lagos. Don't ask me, Tobi. Don't ask me. So I camped in Lagos and I served in the same organization. And to the glory of God, I was retained and I still work there. And currently, the BSN MBA costs 6.1 million naira. And because I've paid my dues, I've been there, and by the grace of God, the organization sponsored everything for me for the MBA without a dime. Now, if I didn't put in the work, why am I saying all this story? If I didn't put in the work, the delayed gratification, everything, sometimes you won't get value. So yes, and recently I was moved from marketing to sales because I had the highest sales revenue generated for Q4 last year. And the CEO was like, Bukola, I think you are wasting away in marketing. Move to sales. So he spoke to me privately and I accepted. And now I'm in sales targets, you get it. And everything has just been like that. And yes, recently I learned about Dynamics 365. I was part of the organizers for Dynamics 365 Nigerian Community Conference that was held last year, November. I was part of the committee that organized it. Yes, it was partly a success. We learned a lot from it. And yes, we have started planning for the next one for this year. So yes, I love Dynamic 365 and it's something I want to really venture in, especially the sales and marketing and CRM part of it. So that's just a brief summary of this small girl like me, I don't have too much to talk about like Tobi, Fisayo, and Tosan. So this is just me. So in case you have questions, please raise your hands, direct your question to the person you want to ask the question to. Definitely you ask questions from anyone, maybe on your career, if you have a boss that is difficult to manage. I had my own fair share of a difficult, I can't say horrible boss, but a difficult boss, really. If you have questions, please. All right, so who asks questions? Please ask questions. Ask questions. Direct your question to the person you want to ask the question to. Okay, Ife Dolakpo, please go ahead. You can unmute and talk.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Ife.
Interesting stories from everyone. Now, like the smallest person on this call. Let me cry. Anyway.
Okay.
And like, let me just like be fast about it. My question is directed to Tobi. You mentioned that you have been able to like move across like various industries since you began your career in tech. So I wanted to ask you, how were you able to do that? Sometimes, I mean, you mentioned passion. Somebody mentioned passion. I don't know. I think Fisayo mentioned passion. But is passion really enough? Because some of us also like, we like what we do. We try to put in the work and everything. And then we've actually tried to move from one place to another, but it hasn't been possible. I don't know. What has been the point of growth for you? I've not been opportune to have like team leads that drag me up there, because they're like some friends, within the industry. I know that their team lead has actually been one of the reasons why they've been able to climb up the ladder, fast enough. But unfortunately, like in the places I found myself, I started my career at a PR agency in 2019 or 2020, early 2020. I started as an intern. It was actually my NYSC. At that point, it was a very small, agency, and it was as if they were literally like still trying to get themselves and everything. Everybody had left. So at that point, I was just there. I didn't even know what I wanted. I just didn't want to sit at home and all that. And then at the point when I started,
Sorry,
I
because
think,
of if you the laptop, you can just summarize your story so that.
okay. So like, how have you been able to? What has been the reason? I mean, how have you been able to, move industries? What has motivated you into moving? And I just want to know the growth process. Thank you.
Yeah, if that's a really good question, because I'll put my response in like two categories. So first of all, there is the external environment, and then there is you, the internal environment. And I say that in the sense that there are things that that are outside of your control, right? And then there are things that you can control. So the way the market trends, the way industries are being disrupted, so many things are happening like on the outside, right? But on internally, right, you have interest. So today you want to be in this industry, tomorrow you want to be in that other industry, blah blah blah, right? Like these things evolve, right? What I will say, a lot from my story, what has helped me, I can't share my story without saying, God, right? God's grace and all of that. But practically, some of the things that I did was, while I was in my final year in school, right? My final year in school, there were 83 people in my class, mechanical engineering. Now that's engineering, mechanical engineering. Now, if you look at the entire technology faculty, there's probably 600, 700, I don't know what the number is. Now, everybody's going to graduate and come into the job market. The job market is saturated. I mean, that's how they used to say it to us. And I had only one question in mind. How do I compete there? Like, how do I, maybe the word is not compete, but I'm using the word compete because I learned recently that, it means to collaborate in some context. But how do I stand out? How do I, differentiate myself? So I spoke with quite a number of my classmates, and I'm saying this story just to, provide a context for my direct answer to your question. I spoke with a lot of people, my classmates, and some people, just like trying to understand where their mind was at. Also, if you finish school, there's always this question of, for final year students, what next, right? So there was this what next question I asked a lot of my friends, and everybody was trying to get a job at Schlumberger, at Schneider, at, oil and gas companies, and the top engineering companies per se. Now, OAU is not the only school that is going to graduate engineering students. How do I differentiate myself? So I literally went on a search for a skill that will differentiate me. That's one. Two, that would give me more opportunities beyond just being an engineer. So you can say maybe it was by chance. I stumbled on project management. So it just happened to be that skill that you can transfer. So as a project manager, you can project manage literally anything in any industry, right? That's my belief. Of course, there's some industries that require some kind of technical depth in terms of your understanding. So I went for a skill to add to my degree, right? That I felt could help me to transition, right, across different industries. So the first internship I got was a real estate company. So it was okay. Why? Because I had a mechanical engineering background, but I have project management. When I left there, I crossed into, I managed a maritime project where we're, going to build some software to manage some maritime stuff. Then from there, I pivoted fully into tech, where I was building more of enterprise digital products, mostly B2G, B2B types of products. Now, what is common across this timeline was my project management experience, was those transferable skills that did not necessarily require technical depth, right? And I have come quickly to understand that everybody has transferable skills, but not everybody is aware of the transferable skills they have. So which means that sometimes you just need to look at what you have. You need to look at your, previous experience. You've probably done something. I was sharing with a friend yesterday about how, the skill you have, you use the parable of how Jesus, fed the 5,000 with 5 fishes, right? So you are looking at it as 5 fishes, right? Somebody else looks at it, knows that if I do X, Y, Z, I can use this 5 fish to feed 5,000. And I was sharing the example of how that, I was watching this Google event where this woman was sharing. She's a senior program manager at Google, and her job before getting into Google as a project manager was, you'll be shocked, waitress, right? She was waiting at a restaurant, and the look on everybody's face was, what? Do you mean like you're managing a restaurant? Or like maybe you're a senior coordinator or something like that. Like, you cannot be a waiter and then you get into Google. And then she narrated how our interview went. And from this narration, you see how that it is important how your perspective to what you're doing, the work you're doing, how you present it matters a lot. So she said that, she viewed, from the interview, she was trying to narrate how she presented her work, which was, she viewed her role as a waiter. Customers walk into the restaurant, right? They grab their seats, she serves them the menu, take their orders. What do you want? You want this, you want that. She's collecting what, in quotes, their expectations have from the restaurant. She takes that order, passes it on to the back office or kitchen staff, who then put together this thing. She's checking in with the customers to check to be sure if they have any other new orders or they want to make any changes or whatever it is. She's checking in with the kitchen to be sure that they are doing what they should do, like putting together the order to meet the expectations of this customer, right, that is waiting for his or her food. When it is done, she brings the food to serve them, right? Serving them, just checking customer satisfaction at that point. She presented her work as a waiter in a project manager setting and got the role of project manager at one of the best technology companies in the world. I said that to say this. You need to be aware of the asset that you have, your skill set, the project you have done, the things that you have done, whether it was a birthday party you planned, and present it in such a way that it is appealing to whoever you're talking to. And that has been one of the things that has helped me. I know the funny thing is that I'm actually in that same place, but because I know I've done it many times, I've done it like 2-3 times, transitioning industry, I'm confident that this pivot I'm about to do again, right, will go smoother than it has been before. But the most important thing is, and this is how I'm doing it, I'm looking back at the projects I've done, the things I've done, picking transferable skills. Everybody has had to talk to somebody, a customer, whether the customer is in your company as an internal customer or the customer is outside of your company as an external customer. Like, that's a transferable skill. They use it in consulting, they use it in healthcare, they use it as an entrepreneur. Like, it's everywhere. Identify those transferable skills and know how you present it to, whoever you're presenting it to. I think that's like the starting point. I can talk more about it like later. I hope I answered the question, Ife.
All right, Tobi, thank you very much. Tosan, do you have a reaction to this? Tosan and Fisayo, a contribution to this?
Right.
Tosan,
Thank you, Bukola. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hello, can you hear me? Awesome.
Yes, I can. Can you hear me, Tosan?
Yes, I can. Awesome. No, so I agree with what he has said. In all the intros of all the facilitators, I was struck by how much relationships or people play do. And I suspect that is what featured in Dolapo's question. There was her question was prefaced by a comment where she said a lot of people had mentors or senior colleagues who pulled them up. In my case, I highlighted my roommates, how I ended up with boys who were engineers. I was computer science students in Obafemi, and then how we founded a number of tech companies together, and how a handful of those companies have emerged. But also my classmates in medical school. I have at least 2 classmates that have founded tech companies that have gotten investments in excess of $20 million. Right. And then of course there's my company as well. So the company you keep, the relationships you build, they go along. If you would permit me to use this example, the first time I met Bukola was in community digital tech, right? And by the end of that first semester, we were working together to put a concept note for an application for a number of grants. And although we didn't get those applications, I don't think we got them. Although if Bukola got them, she would have told me. But you never can tell. Now speaking, our money don't show. But anyway, we didn't get those grants. But the point is, you sort of have to, and this is for Dolapo. You have to aggressively cultivate people. You have to cultivate people. Like, so using my own, to borrow a leaf from the previous facilitator story. In my own case, I was a medical student who was roomed with computer science students. It would have been very easy for me to just go to medical setting, go and buy medical film, and leave these guys and focus on my medicine. But then I ended up partnering with them, building companies with them, exiting companies with them, starting my own. It's because of the relationship. It's such a critical component to the whole thing. And it cannot be overemphasized. Right? Okay, so at the moment, I'm trying to go back into medical practice, not as a clinical practitioner, but because I've been in public health for a while, but as the founder of a series of healthcare facilities, just a way to diversify my portfolio. So I've left medicine, done tech, and I'm now working my way back, right? And even though I am a trained medical doctor, in actual fact, I know nothing about starting a hospital. And so what has happened now is I have a series of friends, people who have been in touch with, who were in my classmates, but I went into tech and I did a sideways career for a while. Those are the guys I'm now collaborating with to plan, strategize, and then implement over the next 2 to 3 years my strategy for what I think healthcare can be like in Nigeria, right? And so you have to be aggressive. You have to collect people. That's the best way to put it. I don't want to be crass, but you have to collect people. And the best way to collect people in code is to solve problems for them. I'm willing to bet money. I'm not a betting man, but I'm willing to bet money. There are many of those people whose superiors pulled them up. It was because they liked them. They didn't want to just let them go. Maybe I'm not privy to those cases, but in cases where I was privy, so let me give you an example. I have been in digital tech since it started. And in the first semester, I was an assistant facilitator. And then in the second semester, I actually started taking my own way. In this semester, I'm back to an assistant. And I'm trying to scale down my engagement. But the reason why I took digital tech seriously, let me tell you the story. So I joined Digital Tech CEO group. And while we were making the intros, I introduced myself, and in that group, we talked extensively about work. And some people reached out to me and they were like, "I'd like to hear more." So I started cultivating them, reach out to them. I read their profiles, then I went to find out how I could help them. And then when I stumbled on things that affected their work, I would actually actively share it. So there was a guy that was on the group. Now I'm saying he's a guy, but he's not a guy. I later found out I wasn't a guy. I was a guy on the group. And he was taking a session. I missed his own profile. He was taking a session, and I came into the session late. And I saw a series of slides. And what he was talking about was something that was really a pain point for me at work. Because, when you are in tech, your career is fast. And many times in 5 years, you are talking to heads of state house, people who have spent 40 years in the business, in their own business. But you are a tech person, your career was like 5-6 years, you are at par with the DG of this place and that place. And you'll be having, sometimes it takes a little bit of sophistication to manage those engagement. And the man was talking about it. And the things he was saying, that particular slide just, so I messaged the team lead and I said, I have a series of questions. Can I ask? The team lead said, go ahead. So I asked my question. My question was long, like 8 paragraphs. And each paragraph had question A, B, C. So it was very detailed. And the man sent it to the person who was taking the session. The person who was taking the session now said, at the end of the session, said, somebody has asked me a question. And that question, I'm not going to be able to answer it today. But I'll do my best to get answers to this person. So, then after the session, he reached out to the team leader and then gave the team leader permission for me to get his phone number, his actual phone number. And I sent him my phone number. He called me. The man was on the phone with me for 2 hours, answering every step blow by blow, and I was taking notes. When after 2 hours, the man realized that I didn't really do justice to what this boy was asking. So he said, "Can we hop on a Zoom call in 2 days' time around 11 p.m.?" I said, "Sure. I'll be excited to do that." I said, "I'll be back." That Zoom call, he came with his slides. So apparently he's a visiting lecturer at Harvard. And those things I was asking him is what he's lecturing on in Harvard. He came with his slides. The slides were almost 50 slides long. And then he sat down with me for 3 hours and taught me. When he had finished, he now said, "If you ever have any problem, it doesn't have to be on what we discuss. Any problem at all. I like you. You're a young man. Come." So I said, "No problem." So I took his name and I put it in Google. And I found out that the man is currently the global CEO of one of the largest banks in Africa, period. I didn't know. The point of this story is you have to aggressively collect people. And the only way you can get people to spend time with you is when you are talking about something that they are doing. It's the lowest. You don't know their children, you don't know their family, you don't know, you are not from their tribe. No, the only thing you can do is to say, "Okay, what do you do?" And then the person tells you, and then you deep dive into what the person does. And so it's the easiest way to build a career. And I'm saying this because the way I did it is kind of different from the other facilitators. They built their careers by being technical people, right? But I built my career by being a founder. Essentially, as a founder, I have to get the technical people, get the money people, get the approvals, get everybody to work together, and then get the job done. So you have to connect people. I'm being crass so that the point can get across. I'm being stark so that I can get my point across in the short time that we have. And that's one of the weaknesses that I have seen in individuals and people that are coming through digital tech. Usually they are talented and smart and young, and they grown up in a system that tells them read, score 85, and you'll pass. It's just that the world doesn't really work that way. Like, it works that way up to a point. It will work for you if you're in civil service. Maybe you work for the government, and your salary and your pay or progress is based on the amount of years. But it doesn't work in a meritocracy, in a merit-oriented system like tech. What happens is people where the decision really happens, where it really matters, where there is money involved, where there is influence involved, where there is impact involved, people hand over resources to people that they trust, or that they see something in, or that they believe will help them. Period. I don't mean to be stark or burst anybody's bubble, and I don't mean to cause offense, but it's just the way. If you want to build and you want to build fast, right? If you want to be all the people you see are on a fast track, make a list of them on a sheet of paper, and you will see who is pushing them. And sometimes, as a young person, you forget. Like, for me, sometimes I've forgotten that, right? But the truth of the matter is, for every major project, and I have a fair number of them under my belt, right? For every major exit, and I have a number under my belt, it's somebody who made a recommendation. So earlier today, I was drafting a speech that I would give to, that I was going to give sometime in November. And one of the things that one of the thoughts that struck me that I had missed in my draft was a paragraph that highlighted specific individuals in the crowd that had helped me. And I realized that if I put that paragraph in my speech, it's going to hit my audience so much that they would not forget that speech. I was just thinking about that not up to 2 hours ago. And so you have to realize, and what that means, the inverse of what I'm trying to say is that those people actually helped me. Like I was in the speech, I started listing their names and said, this person introduced me to this, and it led to us exiting at this. This person introduced me to this, but nothing came out of this. But what happened was this other person now introduced me to this. I listed 5 people, founders like me, who had recommended me to their high net worth individuals and recommended me directly. And what that meant was that they looked at me and realized that it would help them in the eyes of their investors or partners to be associated with the work that I'm doing. And so they were not ashamed to say, send an email and say, oh, hi, James, I'd like to introduce you to Tosan. I'm really proud of the work that they are doing, and I think it's something that you might be interested in. Here's the details. Tosan, over to you. James is listening. You know, and those are the way.
Hi, Tosan, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just wanted to ask, here's someone else asked a question so that we can give people the opportunity to, and I think your question your response has touched almost every question maybe anyone might have. But at the same time, I want to give other people the opportunity to ask questions. But if there are no questions, then we'll continue with the conversation. So who else has questions, either directed to Tosan, Tobi, Fisayo, or myself? Questions, observation, contributions. Anyone? If you have, you can just raise your hand or move to talk. Is there anyone? Okay, since there's no one raising his or her hand, so Tosa, I think we should also give this Fisayo opportunity to also contribute to this. Hi, Fisayo.
Hi, Bukola.
So please go ahead. So, you have what to add to this?
Yeah, I'll be brief. I would like to say a popular scripture, and I'll just say something on it. The gifts of a man makes way for him. Paraphrased. I've come to understand that most times when people come into tech, you are most likely coming from somewhere else. Could be health, engineering, but you find yourself in tech. And the basket for tech is wide enough for everybody. I'm going to give an example of my sisters. I have 2 younger sisters, and they're both in tech. The first one started as a software engineer, and she just found herself where the front end tool they use is Vue.js, and most times she's always like, because Vue.js is not really the thing, right? So most people want to do React. Then she bought courses, she wanted to do React, and I used to tell her, I said, are you doing, you can do the React, but do you love to do Vue.js, for instance? And our own is just that she wants to go to where many people are, right? Recently, she has considered, and she's loving what she does. My other sister started a tech journey learning DevOps engineering. She's presently doing a product. She's a product manager. Somebody saw the skill in her and just employed her, right? So I've noticed that even yourself, in the story you told, Bukola, you said there was something you were looking for, and you ended up seeing something else, and you were not really happy about it. And I think that is most times in tech. I would just say that is adding to what our esteemed speakers have already said. Sometimes you need to go. I feel like sometimes when you enter, you need to go with the flow of where your skill is at, really. Because most of the time, you will hear people around you in your organization telling you, you're actually good at this, can you join our team? And because sometimes we have like a notion in our mind already. There is something we want to do. There is something we set out to do in the first place. I'm just saying that sometimes you need to try and go to where there is ease or there is a skill that some people are identifying in you. And I mean, and you can bring those things like one of the speakers said, we have them in us, but many times we do not know that they are in us. So when you find yourself in a place where you've been given the opportunity to show your skills, there are many things that you show that might not even be known to you, but people see, and it's still in the line of tech, And when you enter that field, or maybe you give it a chance, the chance for growth is very high, right? So what I'm just going to say is, at times when we think about it, might not be for Dolapo, it might be for anybody else trying to find a way or a foothold in this tech. Like I said, it is big, and you can go anywhere you want to really, but many times you just realize. I've noticed something about, if you go to any top person in tech and go to their LinkedIn, kindly go to how they began. Check how they began. Check 2 years, 3 years, 4 years after. Check 10 years presently, where they are presently. And you will see that most of them went through a journey. Most of them, what they are doing presently isn't what they started with. Most of them. I took my time to go through most of these top people on LinkedIn, and I just realized that what they started in is not what they are doing, but it's still the same tech, right? So many times people find themselves in tech, right? They find themselves in this place, and many times it's because of the skill that you have, the innate ability that you have that some people can identify with. That's what I want to say.
Thank you very, very much, Fisayo. Thank you. I love the fact that you spoke extensively on what Tosan and Tobi said. All right, Tobi spoke about how he started and having foresight on what you want to do. Remember, I mentioned when I was sharing my story that when everybody was going for NYC, as a young person, there's this buzz that, especially our parents, they will tell you, I want to see you in khaki and all of that. That excitement that comes with it. But sometimes in life, you have to kill the excitement and face reality and practice delayed gratification. So what I've observed for that is that sometimes we young people, we don't have foresight of what we want. And that's why sometimes we don't get people to bring us up into the kind of things that we want to become in life. So Tosan mentioned sometimes that when he was talking that at a point we had to talk about his community group. And I have to say that Tosan's community group was the first digital tech community group I joined as a member. So I saw that he was trying to, from afar, I could see that I was trying to combine so many things, community group, work, and so many other things. I could see that, in quotes, he was struggling with it. So without him asking for help, I reached out to him. I said, how can I help you? We need to structure these people. We need to break them down into groups or body groups. How can I be of help? And imagine, he said, oh, I would really love if you can help me. He said it literally that, Bukola, I really need help. Now imagine if I didn't walk up to him. Maybe today I might not be meeting any of you. You understand? So yes, I reached out to him. I left my place imagine leaving from all the way from Apapa to Anthony. I came to Anthony to meet him. We structured everything. We spent hours trying to work on things. And all through the journey for the community group of about 3 months, it was back-to-back work. It wasn't an easy ride for me too, because I had my own share of workload at work, family, and everything. However, I was still willing to help, to assist. And so when the next cohort was starting and Tosan was told to recommend someone to be a group leader among the community group, it was very easy for him to mention my name. You understand? Because number one, I was willing to work for him, work with him, and make him grow. And that is why we have to learn how to work with people, how to make things work, how to collaborate with others, how to be willing to go the extra mile for people. And also, Ife, You mentioned that sometimes there are no team leads to bring you up. Sometimes why we don't get people to bring us up is because we don't show that willingness, or we don't show that capacity, let me use that word, for people to trust us. You understand? You know, when someone is recommending you or is trying to push you to do something better, he or she is putting him or herself on the line. You understand? So because I have to trust you to do this, how the things you were doing, how were you able to manage them? I mentioned my story that the CEO moved me with my acceptance though from marketing to sales. I had a boss then, but now has now relocated. All through my NYC day in the organizations, internship and everything, I was doing a job and my job, but she was taking the glory, and I didn't mind. Even when they said Bukola did this, when my boss, they said no, it was my boss that helped me. She gave me the encouragement and everything. And that's so every time behind closed doors when I'm not there, my boss always fights in my favor. Because I've proved to be someone that she can rely on. She called me, Bukola, today is Christmas. I forgot it. Have we done the manners? Have we done marketing for this? What of this? What of this? I'll just say smile. I've done all of that. Don't worry, ma. And she's like, Bukola, thank you very much. So it's beyond just you having that passion. You also need to reach out to people and be a source of value to them. By virtue of where I work, I am connected to the who of who's in the organization, actually the boss of your bosses of your bosses. They come to my school for MBA and all of that. Sometimes I'm the one that recruits them. And sometimes Tosan think that Bukola come is easy for you to bring guest speakers. These people, if it is normal, it is difficult to get them to come. But yes, I've added value to these people. And that's why they can recommend me for any program. I got into so many programs because these people recommended me. Is it McKinsey, Wimbiz, Whisker? So many I didn't even put on my LinkedIn profile because sometimes I just feel like it will just crowd this area. So you have to show that you have the capacity to lead. You have the capacity to undo tasks, to manage tasks and to manage people. So it's beyond that. And try to reach out to people too, people that you think can really help you. Reach out to them, and willingly, most people sometimes they want to help. So let's just end that there. Let's wrap it there so we can move on. So Moses asked a question on the chat. Moses, are you here? Hello, Moses. I just want to be sure you are here. If you can't almost, kindly drop in the chat so that when
I'm here.
Good. Moses asks, how can AI be applied to digital marketing? So are you directing the question to me or who?
Anyone that wants to answer.
Okay. So let me throw this open. Is there anyone among the guests that want to address this? How can AI be applied to digital marketing? Anyone at all? It might be the speakers, might be the guests. Is there anyone? I observe that when we ask questions, like people do not want to talk. And in fact, sometimes techies, I don't know why. I was telling Clinton, my teammates, that the topic or our focus area for techies for this semester is not Python, all these technical skills. It is soft skills. I'm about to say this, and I'm very sorry if this thing will eat you bad. I think most techies do not have good and quality soft skills. Soft skills like effective communication, like maybe yes, collaboration. Techies have collaboration skills, but teamwork with people that are not techies, having networking skills, and these things are the skills that matters. Ability to sell yourself as a person. And I dare you, go online, make research about the top organizations in the world, especially in Nigeria. Check the people that are now the CEOs, the country managers, the MDs, the GMDs, the executive directors. Check them. Most times they are not the techies that are driving these organizations. Go and check banks. The CEOs of the banks now, they are not techies. No banks rely on tech a lot to do so many things. But go and check, is it techies that is their CEO now? No. They get people from the marketing, from sales, from strategy, from finance, from operations, because these people have business skills. And I'm challenging everyone here. It is not enough to have your tech skills. You are a Python person, data analyst. fantastic. I love that. But while you do that, please go and sharpen your social skills, your interpersonal relationship skills. You can't be in front of your laptop 24/7. Tobi mentioned you have to learn how to network with people. You can't be in front of your laptop every time. Your laptop is your boyfriend or girlfriend. Yes, please work. I work hard a lot. At the same time, learn how to manage businesses while you're at work with your laptop, typing, looking for bug and all of that. Sometimes just take a 5-10 minutes break. Go and meet someone in your office or after working hours or anything. Try to interact with people so that you gain that visibility that you need. You won't just be that back-end guy, back-end lady that does all the most important work and nobody knows you because you don't talk, you don't interact with people, you're always with your hoodie, with your earbud, with your, your iPhone watch and all this techie swag that you wear. It is good, but you need business skills and it is important. So I'm challenging someone, please let's respond to this question. How can AI be used in digital marketing? I don't want the speakers to talk. I want someone to volunteer among the guests to talk about this. Tell us who you are, what you do, and please answer the question. Who will go first? I'm waiting. I know Techies. You are not going to agree. Mr. You are not going to agree. Who is going first? Ife? Is Ife there? Nobody is talking. Ife? Yes, you might not have.
Yes,
You might not have all the answers, but because you are skilled in creative strategy in the communication space, at least you have an idea of this question. Please at least attempt it, then other people can add more to this.
Okay, so this question was how we can use AI to work in digital marketing.
Yes. So
Okay.
just answer it maybe in 2 minutes or less, because there's another question again from someone else. Please go ahead.
All right, fine. My name is Adapo, you already know, and I work with Pulse Nigeria as a strategist, digital strategist. So in tech, right, in using AI is, I think the very important thing that you have to realize is what you need it for. Understand the question, understand what you are trying to solve first, right? Say you are trying to, no question is coming top of mind right now, but I mean, you don't want to, you want to understand what the client wants, or you have to understand what you are trying to arrive at, right? And then know the easiest thing is learn prompts, right? Learn learn the best way to ask questions. That's going to affect the response that you get, right? So understand what you are trying to ask. Understand, I mean, have an idea of what you are trying to get, understand understand the question, understand the answer that you're expecting, then learn the prompt. So for instance, if you don't use the right prompt and you have like an answer that doesn't work, since you already have an idea of what to expect, you know that, no, this is not what I want. So you want to use another prompt in getting like the answer that you want, really. So yeah, that's what I think that I can
Right.
contribute.
Thank you, Faye. Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to contribute to this? Just in 1 minute or less, either the guest speakers or guest, anyone, please. Just something to add to what Ife said in 1 minute or less.
Hi,
I can
Tosan.
do that.
So I was just
Okay.
please go ahead.
Who is going first, Tobi or Tosan?
No,
Tobi, please go ahead. No, Tobi, please go ahead. Go ahead. Please.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And I think if has pointed out something very interesting. I think she's talking from what's the buzz right now, like ChatGPT, AI type of application of AI to digital marketing. So if you think about what you do as a digital marketer, right? So if you think through the entire value chain, the question you should then be asking is, what at each of these steps, right? How can I use AI, right? So that makes it like a bit more practical, right, in answering that question. So in your digital marketing work, I'm guessing that your entire value chain will start from identifying value that you want to deliver to the customer, processing all of the data that comes from that identification, maybe like customer feedback, surveys, and so on and so forth. Any market research you're doing, coming up with a strategy to deliver some kind of value or solution to that customer, and then, crafting some kind of advertising or something, to communicate that solution, put it before the customer, so if you think through that entire value chain, right, how AI can help you, it's data, right? And I think the success with generative AI that we know today, like ChatGPT, is because of, I think Dr. Tosan mentioned it, which is the large language models, where it's so intelligent that it can literally interact with any type of data, right? And intelligently, connect, different parts of that data and give you something that, you probably would not just see, except if you spend a lot of time looking at that data, probably even days. So think through that value chain. A lot of data analysis and insights, you don't need to spend hours, right? So say, for example, you've done a survey, right? Or you've done, you have customer feedback. That data, you don't need to be creating dashboards anymore. You don't need to be doing analysis, you're doing Excel, you're doing Power, whatever it is. ChatGPT, can sit on top of that data and tell you all the interesting things from that data, like in split seconds, right? The same chat AI can then tell you that, hey, from this data, can begin to kind of develop personalized or targeted communication or solutions of value to the different customer segment. And, interestingly, this was an area of interest for me, or has been an area of interest for me recently, just trying to see how AI can be applied to like different industries. And so when you said digital marketing, I was just thinking through it, right? I've not thought of it before, so I'm just thinking through it, right? And I remember something I did where, yeah, sorry. So you look, I just took this Excel sheet, put it somewhere, and I just asked ChatGPT, hey, go into this Excel sheet and just tell me the top 3 interesting insights, right? Before, I'll have to be going through the data, trying to generate some graphs, trying to, do some pivot tables, just trying to like understand it myself. But all of the 1 hour, 2 hours I'll have spent to do that, AI can just look through the data. So it reduces the time you spend in understanding data, right? So that's like one use case, and that use case is you are now personalizing it. So you can say that, okay, from this data, what are the different customer segments you can identify? It tells you, oh, there are 3 customer segments. Okay, can you generate personalized solutions for this customer segment? You are doing all that. So think about all the tools you use for these different things and think of how AI can enhance those things. It could even be, there's this idea of chatbots and virtual assistants. People come to your website, AI can, be the one to engage that customer in real time and try to understand, okay, a lot of customers are coming to our website. What kind of questions are they asking the most? Can I develop a solution or some kind of marketing communication for that, for different categories of people that come to our website to ask? It could even be for content creation. That's even like the easiest, right? So in creating all your marketing, artifacts and all of that, AI can do that. You can generate your first draft, then take the first draft, go and improve it, all those types of things, right? I think even in ad targeting, I've seen where people so AI can help you to kind of optimize your campaigns, right? Analyze the user data better and their behavior, and it can kind of like even go multi-channel, right? So whether it's from social media you're getting your data from, plus the data that you have in your company, plus just internet data, whatever it is, right? And just optimize. So I think there are different use cases. What you need to do, just my advice is try to understand what AI, like the AI tool you're talking about, right? What it does, right? The best it does is prediction. AI cannot judge for you. AI cannot make a decision for you. It can only predict. That's the best it will do. So what your responsibility is use the AI to do that prediction faster instead of you having to do that, insights, looking for the data, how it works, blah blah blah, or generating your content and all of that. I mean, today it probably takes a lot of money, time to create a YouTube video, but you can do that in a few hours today with AI, from generating your script. I mean, right? So just think about it along the value chain of the work you do as a digital marketer. I hope I attempted your question. Good. Moses.
Thank you, Tobi. So just to wrap up the Moses question, okay, so I think by virtue of work, I've been in digital marketing for 5 years. I've started working in digital marketing before AI buzz started happening, and till now, yes, I've delegated it in my organization. I am now more focused on sales, but I still manage the guys that are in charge of digital marketing. So this is what I will tell you from my experience and from every sense of confidence, because it is what I do, is that digital marketing is a very beautiful thing to do. It is complex but dynamic. You understand? And AI is not here to take your job away as a digital marketer, but to enhance it and to make you more productive. So this is what you should do. What is that one thing or different things in your marketing channel or funnel that you want AI to do? So as a marketer, I expect that you know what a marketing funnel is. So you start from your awareness, just like the way you have an inverted triangle, like a funnel. From the top stage, your awareness stage. Which tools you need to create awareness? Say you want to run ads online. What other tools you need? AI tools that can help you to do your retargeting. When you move from awareness to your interest stage, like, okay, this person is now aware that I am selling shoes, then I need ads to be interested in my product. So what AI tools can you use to get that done? From there, you move next to the next, which is consideration, down to the next bottom of the funnel. I want this person to consider my product. What can I do? Which AI tool can I use? From there, person has made decision. Now down to the funnel conversion, person has made decision and has paid or bought your products. But as a marketer, you don't stop there. You still need to retain these customers to become loyal fans, to become raving fans, to become people that will recommend or refer other customers to you. So each of these steps or each of this funnel, marketing funnel, has a role to play, and there are tools, AI tools, different AI tools, not just ChatGPT. There's different AI tools that can help you. You are writing content, Grammarly can help you, Qbots can help you, ChatGPT can help you. There are so many. I'll post some on the charts now, the Zoom charts now, okay? So it talks about different AI tools that you can use for different things. So there are so many tools now that are available to you as a digital marketer that will help your work faster, that will make it more smarter, and to make it direct. But the bottom line is use the ones that are relevant to you, okay? So it's a journey. See it as a journey. Your customer is taking a journey to come and buy from you. You are leaving Lagos to Port Harcourt, what is that first step you will take? Are you taking plane or you're taking bus? If it's the bus or plane, you have to get your ticket. If it's your ticket by plane, you have to go to the airport at the right time, board the plane. So likewise, your customers, your prospective customers are on a journey to buy from you. So at every journey, you want to meet them at the right point of conversation, or at the right point of when they'll be vulnerable to give attention to whatever you're selling. So what is that one thing that you do? Just go to Google. Which AI tool can I use to do this, to interpret data. If you think you need to use Power BI, you don't want to go AI, for instance, I think Power BI too has some level of AI integrated to it, because I use Power BI a lot for my data visualization, okay, and it helps. So different things that you can use. Don't limit yourself to ChatGPT. Explore, ask Google. Google is your friend, as you know. So thank you. I hope we answered your question, Moses. So I think the final question for today will be from Felicia. Felicia, is this a question? Okay, I think it's contribution. So Onyi Ezike, I hope I pronounced it correctly. So Onyi's question is, Onyi, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Onyi, how are you?
Hello.
I hope you're enjoying the session so far.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
I said I hope you are getting value from the session so far.
Oh, yes. Even though I came in late, I had issues joining in at the beginning, but it's been very informative so far.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So
my question is a bit basic because I'm very, very, very new. Everything just like sounding above my head right now. I hope you guys don't mind answering this very basic question.
Can you say your question?
I didn't.
Can you repeat your question for everyone to hear you?
Okay, my question is, what's the advice for someone who is trying to get to tech? What aspect should I go into? Where do I even start from? The whole thing is just confusing. What do I do? What's the baseline? What do I do first?
Okay.
That's my question.
Right.
Yes.
So I would like the facilitators or I guess speakers to talk about this. Is there someone among our audience I would like to just talk about this briefly? Anyone at all? Anyone among our participants here? Is there anyone? Just raise your hand. I'll call you. All right. That's one thing about techies. They will not talk. They are not like people like us that can. All right. So, okay. So who wants to take this? Clinton, can you hear me?
I'm in a public place, actually. Sorry.
Right. All right. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. I've muted him there. I'm sorry. Tosan, Tobi, Fisayo, please help us. Can anyone hear me? I want to be sure.
I'll go after Dr. Tosan.
Yes.
Fisayo.
Okay, so please, as much as we can, let's just address this in 2 minutes or less, so that we can have a closing remark and we can close in time. Yeah. So please, Dr. Tobi, 2 minutes or less. Thank you.
Yes. Please permit me to phrase a question out of what I suspect that you're asking is what's the first thing? How do you start a career or a transition into a career? Is that correct?
Yes, so our question was...
Yes, that's my question, yes.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So, I mean, I would ask you, what do you currently do? And then, but before you answer that, I will preface my response by saying, you sort of already have started, like you are in a digital tech community. And so what that means essentially is that, give or take, there are either a handful of people that are about to commence their careers in tech, or people who have, over the past 6 months to 2 years, have begun their transition into tech. And that's the first place that I would say you should begin. Right. The second place would be to sort of identify a handful of areas that you think you might be interested in. And that process would be predicated on what you are currently doing. Like 2 things. What you are currently doing, and the second thing would be the amount of information you have, right? The amount of information you have about what tech really is. So what do you currently do?
Okay, I'm an aircraft engineer.
Oh, right. I remember. Yeah, I saw the profile. Right. So there are two engineers on the group, and I think the other engineer is engineer gift. Okay, right. So you are the aircraft engineer. So you're already in tech, like low key. To be honest, you are already in tech. It's just you mean you want to transition into digital tech, right? Am I correct?
Yes, you're correct. Digital tech.
Exactly. So now the next thing would be I imagine that you have your eye on a few careers, maybe friends or stuff you've heard. Do you have anyone in mind? Or I mean, is it tabula rasa anywhere? I mean, you haven't really decided or thought about.
So I didn't get your question, please.
What I mean is there any specific set of careers that you already think you might be interested in?
Honestly, I don't have, but I like to solve problems. That's my natural strength, problem solving.
Right, right. Okay. So I mean, so if you had picked a series of careers or a handful of careers or places you were thinking, we'll just cone in on that segment on what you needed to do. But right now, since you haven't chosen anything, my next question would be, what's your current timeline? Like, how much time are you giving yourself for this transition? Are you currently where you are currently working now? Is it where you can chill and you can take your time over the next 6 months to 1 year? Or is it like, man, I need to get a job and I need to get into tech in the next 3 months?
Okay, I'm not in a hurry to get a job because my job is very, very rewarding, sort of. I'm just looking for something I can do from wherever I am in the future because right now what I do require my presence, and I'm looking for a kind of workspace where I can work from anywhere in the world. So I'm trying to give myself the opportunity to learn skills that afford me the opportunity so that I can actually stop trying to be present at work and I can work from home, from wherever. That's what I'm looking for.
Okay, awesome. So now you've given us quite some context.
That can help me.
Awesome. Now you've given us quite some context. Like, so now it's actually you.
Hello? Can anyone hear me?
I stopped hearing everybody.
Tosan. Tosan. I think he might be having some network glitches. So while we wait for Tosan to join, he's here, but maybe he can't hear us. So Tobi, please go ahead.
It would have been good for Tosan to finish his diagnosis. I like that approach. So, based on the context that you have given, right? I mean, so there's number one, there's no pressure. That's number one. Number two is you are planning for a future time where you're able to like work from anywhere. You can, apply you can work from anywhere, literally. I think based on that, so the way I have approached it in the past is I start by just starting. So which means find something that if you read about something, let's say, for example, you read about let's say data analysis, for example, right? Try your hands on it, right? So the approach is called sampling. That's what I call it. So try your hands on it, read about it, talk to people about it. So that's for data analysis. Just sample, right? See if it is something that really, really interests you and it's something that you feel like you can, maybe do like go further in it, right? Try something else if you feel like it's not interesting. Again, that's how I've done it. It has helped me, to quickly pick, just choose something. In the end, I find myself, narrowing down on one. Sometimes I also find that my experience learning from like this other, the other things I probably picked up would help me in the one that I eventually pick. So, one, you want to leverage what you already have. Like that is very, very important. Two is find somebody, right, that you can keep in touch with. See, it's so important that it helps you to shorten your learning curve, right? In fact, your sampling can be by just speaking with the people that are already in this different place. So, for example, you speak with someone in data analysis. Why? Because you want to sample it. You talk to somebody in product management. You talk to somebody in project management. All tech things that you can do. You talk to somebody in business analysis. Like you're just trying to get a sense of, ask very good questions from these people. So sample, right? Ask them what their day-to-day is like. Ask them what they do every day. By virtue of that, I think you should be able to like narrow it down to one thing. The truth is, even those that chose something eventually pivot, right? I've done project management in IT. I've done operations in this tech thing. I've done product management. I'm trying to like, okay, you know what? Let me just go to. So in the end, we all do end up where we started or where we entered tech, from. But all of that experiences eventually they add up, right? So I would say for starters, find something. In fact, there are people who do, they're like tech recruiters. That's what they do. They are HR people, but they bring that skill set into, recruiting technology talent, right? I mean, there are lawyers in tech, there are finance people in tech, there are accountants in tech, there are engineers in tech. I know that, for example, I know that Amazon, they have like this entire business for so they're not well, they have freight for aircraft, right? I mean, you meet somebody that works in Amazon, but I mean, it's a tech company, but is the person an aircraft engineer or for their drones delivery, that type of thing. So, so I think the question is, why that might not be a good fit, because you are looking for something that is like more remote, right? So that would mean you need to like identify something that is like more interesting to you, even though you're going to be pivoting. Find people in that space, have as many conversations. For example, before this meeting, I was trying to talk to somebody at a company. Why? Because I'm trying to like also do a pivot, but my own pivot is industry-wise, not necessarily, So again, don't be afraid to sample, right? Give yourself time, show yourself some grace as you are learning. If you feel like it's something that you don't, again, you are not quitting because it's a bad day. You're not saying, hey, I'm not doing this again because, you had a bad experience or something. Like if you subscribe to a product management class online, finish it before you decide and say, oh, I don't think product management is for me, but finish it, right? You want to sample something. Again, I mean, it might be unconventional, right? But that's what I've tried. It has worked. The experience eventually is not something that I throw away. It helps me again along that journey, right? So that's how I think you can, like today, just go online. It could be LinkedIn. I use LinkedIn a lot. I find people that are already in the space that I'm, trying to get into. I look at how they grew, different positions they've occupied, the skill set and competencies on their page. I just look at it and get a sense, right? So today, that's what you can start, like where you can start today in figuring out today. Go to LinkedIn. Just look for somebody in tech. Look at the skill set they have. Write it down. Tomorrow, check for somebody else. If it's product management that is there, read a little bit about product management. set up a call with them. Hey, I mean, and I do this a lot. If I see someone's profile that is in a company or somewhere that I'm going to, I ask them. The worst case, they'll tell me, no, I cannot talk to you. Okay, no problem. I'll do for somebody else. Talk to them. Like that's what you can start doing today. Like today, right? That would be my advice.
All right. Thank you very kindly, Tobi. Tosan is not here back, so we have to close exactly 9. All right. So on that note, I don't want to add more to what Tobi has said and Tosan. They have finished work. Okay, Fisayo, do you have something to add in 1 minute or less?
Okay, let me just add something in 1 minute or less. What worked for me is, I mean, because when I was entering into tech, it was just a big house of many things that I didn't know what was going on. So the way to place things for me is to know what most of those roles do, right? So there are 2 ways you can do this. You can actually, like, if you type on Google now that same question, I'm sure you're going to see lots of answers. If you go to YouTube, type that same question, you're going to see answers. So you might have to want to know what these tech roles are. There's some that don't require coding. There's some that is purely management. There's some is business related. There's some that are, say, data analysis. And some that you have to code. Some that you have to deal with numbers, data, right? So you already know the ones that. There's some that in software development or software engineering, for instance, you can be a technical writer, you can be a software tester. There are many things you can do depending on the skill that you have or the skill that you're looking, what you're trying to do. Say in your case, you want something digital tech that you can do from the comfort of your home and you like to solve problems, right? If you type that on Google, for instance, I'm sure you're going to come up with some answers. And the thing then is, because I think the first step is being in a group like this, you can always ask questions from people, right? So when you check out those things, check out almost all the different rules, major rules in tech. First of all, read about them. Some of them you feel at home more with some of them than more, right? So you can narrow it down. That's what I did. You can narrow it down, then talk to people about it. What do you guys do? I mean, if you narrow it down, if you say data analysis, if data analysis jumps at you, I'm sure that in this group, there is somebody that is into data analysis, might not be far gone, but maybe have started and have gone through what you're trying to do now, right? So it's going to be helpful. But the first thing is that you have to, first of all, be conversant with the tech world. What are the roles? What do they do? I think that is the first thing that you have to do. 1 minute or less.
Okay, so that was above 1 minute, but it's fine.
Right.
Okay, that was beautiful. So any closing remark, closing thoughts? Tobi, 1 minute or less.
Yes. So I think everybody is in tech. Tech as we know it, in this conversation, digital tech is just like, another version of everything, right? Like Onyi's interest, you are a problem solver. That's how tech came about, right? Trying to solve a problem, in a more effective way to get things done in a better way. And so that's just the thinking, right, in technology. So I believe that anybody can be in tech. Anybody, regardless of your background, can be in tech. I've learned of friends who had a music background, but they are managing products in Apple, in Google, like with a music background, right? So anybody can be in tech. It's just the way you think about problem solving. If you're going to interview with any of the big techs today, most of them will ask you questions that are behavioral. Oh, how do you solve problem? How do you handle this? How do you handle that? You're like, oh, but it's supposed to be like technical project, right? They're called behavioral. It's more about the behavior, your approach to solving this thing.
Are you now?
Tobi,
are you now saying that behavioral in the sense that like soft skills, not really like the technical skills, yeah?
Yes, that's what it is.
You,
Soft skills. That's
you're
what.
also saying that my what will I say venting on why techies don't really pay attention to soft skills is valid.
It's very, very valid, right? The only people that need technical skills are the engineers that are building the product. And that's why, like Fisayo said, there is coding and there is non-coding work in tech, right? Those technical guys usually don't have, like what you said, they usually don't have. But those other people that are in the non-coding side, they have heavily tested on behavioral things. They have to be able to manage those that don't have it. That's the engineers, right? They have to be able to do work that requires more soft skills, like you have mentioned. They can communicate an idea to an engineer. And I promise you, it's one of the hardest things to do, to tell an engineer that this is what you need to build. Like, it can be, very difficult. So those are the type of things I think. So you can focus on that, right? If you don't want to go technical, that's fine. But even companies today, even in hiring engineers, they ask them for soft skills, behavioral questions. When you fail, how do you approach it? Like, people fail whether you are a tailor, you're a fashion designer before, like anything they're doing, people fail. So yeah, those are my final words.
Thank you. Like I said, I want us to finish exactly 9. I have to keep the time, please. Thank you very kindly, Tobi. For me, the only thing I want to say is practice action learning. Don't just learn, practice it. So our point of action, be intentional about these things. And from everything you have heard from everybody, please practice all these things. Don't just join, but practice them. And if there's anyone here you'd like to connect with and all of that, just go and search their name on LinkedIn. Tobi, Ogunronbi, go and check. Tosan, go and check. Clinton, Ogbeja, go and check. Bukola, check. Connect with them. If you think you can't really check out people currently. So thank you very much. And our next session is next week, Saturday. I promise you. The person that is coming on board has almost 2 decades of working experience in both tech community, tech environment, and tech. Topic will be on leadership and visibility. So as a tech person, whether engineer or not, you need leadership skills, and more importantly, you need to be visible. So you don't want to miss this. I promise you don't want to miss this. You are going to really enjoy it. So yes, we'll be sharing the flyers very shortly. So thank you for your time, everyone. Do have a beautiful, lovely night rest. I'll drop my LinkedIn link on the chat in case you want to network with me, connect with me. I want to connect with you, please. I always love to do that. So thank you for your time, and thank you for attending or joining today. I hope you got value from this. Do have beautiful night. Bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Bukola. You're really amazing. I must commend you in the front of everybody. Thank you so much for doing this.
You're welcome. You're welcome, really. So I've dropped my LinkedIn link on the Teams chat, so you can connect with me, send me requests. Because of you are important, I will immediately just accept it. All right. Rest well. Thank you, Ife. Thank you very much, Zion. Thank you, Asha. Taiwo, Oyi, thank you very much. Moses, thank you for your beautiful question. Dami, thank you. Felicia, Fisayo, thank you for creating time to do this. And everyone, there's King Taiwo, thank you. Michael, thank you. Olushola, thank you. Oluwatomisin, thank you. Oluwayomi, thank you. Onyiye, thank you. Okpeyemi, Adeni, thank you very much for joining. I hope you got value. Taiwo Ajibola, thank you. Zion, thank you. Very kindly, really appreciate you. Thank you for joining. So I'll wait for everyone to leave before I close. So yes, we closed in time. I think I deserve a round of applause. I'm a good moderator.
Yeah, you did well. You did well, man. I must commend you. You did well.
Thank you. Thank you. I also recommend you join Toastmasters. Yes, into really brushing up your communication and leadership skills. So talk to me if you want to know how to join Toastmasters. I will really help you. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Thanks, everyone. Okay,
Thank you, Madam Bukola. Thank you very much. Thank you, Clinton.
Thank you for attending.
All right.
Thank you for volunteering. Bye. Thank you.